we need to talk about Pride Month and we need to talk about Pride as a whole. Today's video is going to be a video debunking Pride Month and the LGBTQIA plus community. I hope I haven't forgotten any letters, but they keep adding letters every single week. So it is difficult for me to keep up as much as I maybe would even like to. So I hope that I haven't forgotten any letters. I hope that we won't create a new alphabet to add letters to this acronym. But aside from that, this video is about pride and this video is about the community which I have just mentioned to you. Guys, why did I want to make this video? Well, I want to make this video for many reasons. First of all, because I want to talk about this topic once and for all. I have, commented on Pride Month and the concept of Pride and the way it is celebrated sometimes on my social media platforms. However, I haven't done a video about it, and this video is going to be a video about it. Before we start talking about the things which you have mentioned, if you enjoy the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, guys. It would be really appreciated. The goal is to get, let's set a goal for the summer. The goal is to get to 100 subscribers by the end of August. I think it is doable. Difficult, yeah, but it is doable. So please subscribe, guys. It would be really appreciated, and I would really like it. So subscribe, share the video, and let's start with it. And I also wanna have some conversations with you in the comments. So comment with your opinion on Pride Month. So this is a video debunking Pride Month and LGBTQIA. Did I say it right? I don't know. IA plus, yeah. So let's start, guys, with the first problem. Let's start with the first problem, which is possibly the biggest one in my point of view, which is the fact that this agenda about sex is being intentionally pushed upon children, and that's really problematic to say the absolute least. And pushing this agenda, forcing this agenda into the minds of the youth, into the vulnerable and impressionable minds of the youth, is unacceptable, absolutely. I want to make this clear. Now, this video is going to be mostly about, how these agendas are being pushed, especially in America, in the USA. I don't live there. I'm not American. I think you can guess that. I live in a different country. I live in a different place. And I have no involvement with America in terms of, none of my relatives as an origin from America, as an American origin. So, this video is mostly going to be about America, but this is an international channel, so I guess that most of the people here are from America. Or England. Even in England it's being pushed, but not as much as in America. So intentionally pushed upon children, that's the first problem, and it's a very big problem. I think it is unacceptable that, we allow the establishment, the system, the government, call them however you want, to push this agenda constantly upon children. I think it is truly unacceptable, and I think that the minds of children shouldn't be touched. Children are so impressionable, so vulnerable, and it is normal because children are very young. Children are very young, and 4 or 5 years old, pushing these agendas. You might not be a male, you might not be a female, you might not be that. I think it is truly evil, and I think it is truly unacceptable. Why do they want to do this? We're gonna go over that throughout the video. I think that there are different intentions that the establishment has, and they're all really bad and sinister, I would say. So that's the first really big problem. And we're seeing it, when in schools in America they teach about those pronouns, they teach about, the pronouns and that stuff. I think it is absolute garbage. I'm gonna say this out loud with no fear whatsoever and with no holding back. I'm not gonna be politically correct, just so you know. I think it is absolute garbage, and a subject as easy as gender. Gender is the easiest subject which exists, don't get me wrong, or at least the identity stuff. You're either a male or a female, and I'm gonna be rude now. I'm gonna allow myself to be rude. If you ask me what's a woman or what's a man, if somebody asks this question for me, I'm gonna ask this question once for all. A man has a dick and a woman has a vagina. As simple as it gets. As simple as it gets. Rude? Yeah. it was abrasive. Okay, I'll let you get away with that. However, it is true. That's the very easy definition. It's not very difficult. It's a very easy definition. And I think that confusing children, it's reprehensible and it's unacceptable. So that's the first problem. Second problem, I mean, this is something which, fortunately, actually, which luckily has been, has been stopped, at least in some countries and in some states when it comes to the US, the surgeries to make children appear as the opposite sex. This is truly disgusting, to say the very least. These children, oh, I actually feel like I'm a female, I don't feel like I'm a boy, and that stuff, and then you make him do the surgery, the hormones. That's disgusting, and I think that should be absolutely and utterly illegal for under 18 people. That should be illegal. Unless, of course, for special cases where, it is necessary for that person which was born with problems. If a person is born with problems and has to take a specific surgery because it's the only way they can improve their life, then that's fine. I've got nothing against those things. Absolutely. But if, you allow minors to undergo such surgeries, it's unacceptable, and I think it should be legal. And I agree with what Peterson said. The doctors who have allowed those things should face repercussions for that. Should really face repercussions for that, because you're ruining a person's life. How many transgender people? How many people who have had those surgeries? So many people who have had maybe their penis chopped off, or about those kind of surgery. How many of those people have actually, regretted those decisions and said, I wanted to have a family, now I can't have a family anymore, and that stuff. So that's why I think it should be made illegal for minors. Absolutely. And I agree with Jordan Peterson when he says that, the people who have allowed these surgeries and who have done these surgeries should face repercussions, because it's truly ridiculous. The third problem is sexual narcissism. And narcissism is never good because it detaches you from reality. You will think about yourself, and it is never a good thing. It is never a good thing, absolutely. So, here there is this sexual narcissism where you base your identity, your personality on, how you identify, how you feel. That's not a good thing. And one thing to make clear, gender doesn't depend, and I think this is quite obvious, this is common sense. Gender doesn't depend on your feelings. Gender depends on how you were born, and it cannot change. And this in 2024 is controversial and may get this video taken down, but I don't care. If you're born a male, you're a male. If you're born a female, you're a female. As simple as it gets. There are some exceptions, okay? I'm not gonna get into those medical details which I don't know about. However, in 99.99999% of cases, you're either a male or a female, and you cannot change that. Even if you want to try to change that, even if you want to force people to, address you as something else, you cannot do that. You cannot do that, and you cannot pretend. You cannot pretend that people, address you the way you want to be addressed, especially if it is very naive and very delusional and very unreal. So sexual narcissism is a very big problem, basing your whole identity on your sexual orientation and, on your sexual orientation and on your identity. That's not good. That's degenerate, woke. That's a very bad thing in my point of view. Very, very bad. And I'm gonna quote you what Peterson said. I'm gonna read you what he said, actually. Some things he said, because I think that they're interesting. I'm gonna read you this thing he said, because I think it summarizes the third point about sexual narcissism, which I want to make. Peterson feels that people tend to be private about sexual conduct as a species, so the idea of celebrating sexual... No, I didn't want to read that, but regardless. It's also the case that identity based on something as narrow as sexual desire, let's say, aren't identities at all. They are pronouncements of subjection to instinctual whim. That's absolutely spot on. Spot on, and he couldn't have said it better. He couldn't have said it better in any way whatsoever. Couldn't have said it better. And props to Jordan Peterson for speaking about this. I agree with his speech on Pride Month and the concept of pride as a whole that he did on Fox News. Go and watch it. I think it is worth it, and I think it is spot on. Detachment from reality, that's another problem, of course, because if you base your all your identity, and if you're narcissistic, and if you're sexually narcissistic, then you're also detached from reality, because you live in your own delusion. You believe that people must, you believe that people have to address you the way you want, and that's truly ridiculous. That's truly ridiculous. This is absolute nonsense. Nonsense, and it is unacceptable, guys. Unacceptable, absolutely. And this should definitely stop. And this, you know, and this whole agenda, this whole sexual agenda in schools should stop. It is evil and disgusting and unacceptable that governments and the establishment, that governments want to push those agendas upon children and indoctrinate them with those ideas. You can be trans, you can do whatever you want, and all of this agenda. This agenda is specifically being done to weaken the populace. I'm certain of that. I've said that numerous times. And also, I think that they also want to decimate the population, we could say. They want to, do that, lower the population, probably. That's something they want to do. Because if you push this sex agenda this much, if you push transgenderism this much, if you push, I've got nothing against gays and lesbians, but if you push gay, lesbian, and all that stuff, those are all things which do not lead to procreation. Because if you're gay, this is controversial in 2024, but I don't care. If you're gay, and I've got nothing against gays, just to make this clear, and one thing which I want to make clear, I think that gays and lesbians I think that they were done a disservice by being added in this mix. I think that gays and lesbians are not proud, not in the sinful way, because as Peterson said, pride is a cardinal sin. However, I may come across as an absolute hypocrite, because I've said that the purpose of life is pride. But I don't mean pride in a way where you are stubborn to accept that, where you're so stubborn that you don't accept the fact that, you're delusional and naive. I mean pride in a different way. But I can understand that my idea of the purpose of life, which I have sometimes shared here, can be misconstrued and misunderstood. I accept that, and we're going to talk about that at length again and better. But what Peterson says there about pride is spot on. Coming back to what I was saying, is spot on and is absolutely right. So coming back to the point, coming back to what I was talking about, as I said, I think that gay and lesbians were done a very big disservice, and even bisexual people, because they were added with these woke people. They were mixed up with these woke people, and as I said, I don't think that true gay and lesbians are proud and are happy that this all degenerate, hedonistic, sexual, narcissistic celebration of pride is occurring. I don't think that they're proud of that. I don't think that they're happy about that. So I wanna divide the two groups, because the problem is not with lesbian people and gay people. You can be gay, you can be lesbian. I've got nothing against you. I've got gay friends, so I have no problems with gay people nor lesbian people whatsoever. However, the problem is when you have this very delusional people, the queer stuff. I don't even know what that means, intersexual, asexual, these all categories of people who identify themselves based on their sexual orientation. That's sexual narcissistic and very negative, very, very negative. And of course, these people are very detached from reality, because that's the woke agenda. They are very detached from reality, and of course that's because they live in their own naivety and in their own world, and they're detached from reality. The fifth problem which I have highlighted is hedonism. Of course, hedonism is a problem. Hedonism is a very big problem. You're hedonistic, you only look for pleasure, And I'm going to give you the definition of hedonism just to make this clear. I think, hedonism is the pursuit of pleasure, sensual self-indulgence. So the pursuit of pleasure only, and I think that these people are doing this with those woke parades and degenerate parades with people naked. They're just looking, they're just pursuing this pleasure, which is absolutely ephemeral. I would describe it as ephemeral, this pleasure, that they have. Absolutely. Those are the problem, guys, with Pride and with the LGBTQIA plus community. I hope I haven't forgotten any letters, guys. This is a video which I wanted to make. This is a controversial video. I wouldn't call it controversial. I think it's just common sense. And no, let's just, that's the first thing which might be controversial. I want to talk about what Peru did. Peru classified trans, intersexual, and asexual people as mentally ill. I agree. And I don't think that this is a way not to be inclusive. I think that this is a way actually to help these people who are very confused. Very confused, because I think, if you have problems understanding what's your identity, that's a mental health disorder. That's a mental illness. I think that how can you not understand something as simple as that? You clearly have some instabilities. So I agree with Peru's move. Tell me what you think about Peru's move. Tell me what you think about the classification that Peru gave to the people which I have listed before. And guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. I wanted to do this once and for all because Pride is all over the world, is all over the USA, is all over the internet, since it is Pride Month. And actually, guys, I want to say, I think we should celebrate, and I think we should think about more important things like family instead of, concentrating on Pride. And to finish this off with a bomb, let's put it in that way, I think that, the establishment wants to push Pride. I think that the establishment wants to push Pride and push this whole agenda because they want to weaken the populace and divide the populace, and other than that, they also want to lower the population. Because, as I said, if you adhere to this agenda, you're not gonna have a family, since you can't. See you in the next videos, guys. Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed it. I think it wasn't that bad. I hope it was decent. See ya in the next video, guys.